Hi guys, this is Vineet, and in this video we will discuss about how you can manage SQL Server through Windows PowerShell. So let's quickly go to my notes. So if we take a look at notes, so basically when do you want to use Windows PowerShell to manage the SQL Server? So for example, you are working on a computer that is not running the graphical version of Windows Server, maybe there is core installation of Windows Server installed on a certain machine where GUI is not available and only a shell is available. On those systems, you can use Windows PowerShell to execute any SQL commands against the SQL Server database. So the second point is that SQL Server also includes a provider for Windows Shell through which you can execute the SQL commands, and this is known as SQL Server PowerShell. So we can open up the command window or Windows PowerShell, and we can start the SQL Server PowerShell by typing SQL PS at the command line. So let's see how we can do that. So let me open Windows PowerShell quickly. So I'm typing Windows PowerShell. So here it is showing me an app. So I can right click on it. I can run it as administrator. So click on yes. So once the SQL PowerShell is open, let it be. Let's wait for it to become ready. Not sure whether this one is working correctly, so let me open another Windows PowerShell. So you see there are two other PowerShells as well. One is x86 and one is this. So let's work with Windows PowerShell ISC. So I'm running it as administrator. Let's see what it opens up. Okay, so it has opened up the Windows PowerShell for us. So let me connect to the SQL PowerShell module. So I've typed SQL PS for that, and right now it is connecting to the SQL PowerShell. It will come up with the SQL PS command. Seems like it's still executing. Let's wait for it to come up with the prompt. So guys, I need to open up another Windows PowerShell window. Here I have run the SQL PS command and I've come up to this prompt. So right now I'm connected to SQL PowerShell or SQL Server PowerShell module after I typed this, which is showing up here in this. Alright, so let's see what commandlets do we have available inside PowerShell for SQL Server. So one of the commandlets is backup SQL Server database. If you want to take backups of some SQL Server database, you can use that. Another commandlets are convert URN to path. You can read more about them. Decode SQL Server name, encode SQL Server name. Here I have provided description. So convert URN to path, it basically converts the object uniform resource name to a SQL Server provider path. So basically it's converting a uniform resource name, which is URN, to a SQL Server provider path. So, and basically URN indicates the management object. Location management object may be a database or a table, you can call it, within SQL Server object hierarchy. And we can decode SQL Server name, which basically returns an unencoded SQL Server identifier when given an identifier that has been encoded. Now there is another similar command which is used to encode the special characters in SQL Server identifiers and name paths to format that are usable inside the SQL Server paths. So characters which are encoded are these characters, special characters basically. If you don't encode these characters, you must use escape sequences to escape them, and escape sequences are using SQL, not SQL. Escape sequences are using single quotation marks, which is basically this, to mark a character as escape character. So if our SQL Server name includes any of these characters, they have to be escaped. And next we are talking about some policy execution. So we can run the command invoke policy execution, which basically evaluates management policies applied to SQL Server instances. By default it reports on compliance but does not enforce compliance. So I can quickly run on this invokes policy evaluation. Invoke policy evaluation. Now let's try to run this command. So when I run this command, okay, it has given me some error. Maybe I'm not providing sufficient parameters along with running these commands. So let's ignore this for now, and let's see, give me a second. So what was the error we got? Parameter set cannot be resolved using a specified name parameter. So it has not given us any information. I think invalid argument is coming. So let's leave it for now. Let's go ahead. We'll cover that later. And next command is invoke SQL commands, which basically this command is used to run a T-SQL or XQuery script or any SQL commands supported by the SQL command utility, and only a subset of SQL commands can be used here. We will go through some demos on this, and there is a restore SQL database commandlet available to perform the DB restore operations, and current execution policy controls whether you can run scripts, and we can determine what's the current execution policies by running the following command. We can run this command to determine what is our current execution policy. So let me go ahead and see what my current execution policy is. So let me type this, get execution policy. So right now it is showing remote signed, so which means that any of the scripts that are coming from some other computer, those should be signed in order to if we want those scripts to run inside this computer. So it requires a signature, digital signature on the remote scripts. So basically we can tweak this execution policy settings by using various type of set commands. To set the execution policy to require all scripts must have a trusted signature to execute, run the following command. So in the SQL PowerShell, so far it's talking about the current policy set for remote sign, means the scripts which are local can be run without any data signature. But if we want that any of the script, whether local or remote, that should have data signatures to run, we can run this command set execution policy all signed, so that all of our scripts should be signed whether local or remote in order to execute on the computer. So let's go ahead and run this command, so which is set execution policy, which is all signed. Let me check. So all signed, right? Let's run this. So all signed is currently not the parameter. Let me see what all options are available for this. So maybe it is case sensitive or something. Let me quickly check on this. So no, I don't think so. It is, but it is not allowing me to run this command. That's the issue. Let me seek help on this. Okay, let's try all signed here. One second. Set execution policy, I'm supposing all signed. So why it is not allowing me to set that? So basically it is saying that permission is denied on this, so we cannot set the execution policy to. Okay, so it is giving us the reason why this policy all signed cannot be set, because policy setting is getting overwritten by a policy defined at the more specific scope. So that's why we are not able to set this all signed policy, and we are basically getting permission denied on this. So let's try to run other commands for now. So far we have run this all signed. So remote signed is currently set. We can set this using this command as well. So let's try. So let me type set execution policy, and if we can type remote signed, this will run, but this is already set to remote signed execution, and we can type get execution policy, which is already at remote signed setting. And let me correct this, and there is also execution policies which can be set to unrestricted. So basically, to set the execution policy there, so that the script without data signature and work in an unrestricted environment, we can run the following command. Let's see. I don't think so it will accept because of the permissions issue. Let's try that. Let's see. So I'm setting it to unrestricted. It is not allowing us to do that. It is giving us permission denied. It is not allowing us to. So it is set to remote signed. It is neither allowing us to put it in unrestricted mode and nor in the all signed mode, because some more granular policy is defined at the more specific scope. So for now let's leave it. We will discuss about policy settings later in our more detailed video. So let me clear this out, and right now our system setting is set to run the remotely signed scripts, and for local script it can run without any signature. So we are done here. Let's move back to the nodes and see the other options. So now we will talk about running the T-SQL scripts inside Windows PowerShell, and we can basically use the Invoke SQL command. So T-SQL scripts can be run via using this commandlet, Invoke SQL command. It can be used to run T-SQL or XQuery scripts, and the results we get are formatted as tables. So there's a proper syntax for that. So Invoke SQL command, and we can specify the server instance where we need to specify the instance name. For default instance, we don't need to specify this parameter. It automatically connects to a default instance. But if it's a name instance of SQL Server, we need to provide path like computer name / instance name. Next, we need to provide the database we want to connect to by using the database parameter, and if we want to encrypt connection, we can use this, and we can specify user and password. In case of the SQL Server authentication, for Windows authentication, we can disregard these parameters, and then we need to specify query and the query string, which is our T-SQL command to be executed. And if we want to open a dedicated administrator connection, we can do that using this command. And in case we are not using a query, but instead we are using a T-SQL written inside a particular file, we can provide that file using the input file parameter. And if we want to get the output of the running the SQL command in certain file, we can use the out file parameter with a file path, particular file path. So one second, file path, which is a file path. So here we have provided description for all these, but I've already discussed this right now few minutes back, so we can skip this. And for now, here it is saying that for Windows authentication there is no need to specify username and password separately. Now we will go through some of the demos. So let's connect to our SQL Server shell as well. So give me a moment. Alright, so I'm opening up SQL Server. Let's wait for it to open. So once SQL Server opens, we will see its structure and we'll try to work on it through SQL Server PowerShell. So there are 4 demos we will go through. So first one is running a SQL query from a Windows PowerShell. Let's see how we can do this. So we will basically use a simple select query. I'm just waiting for SQL Server to open up. Alright guys, SQL Server is open up and I'm connected to a database engine. Let's close the registered server view for now, and I want to check the objects in Object Explorer. So under databases we have the Northwind database. Under Northwind we have certain tables. So under Northwind we have tables like customers. So we will use this customers table in our SQL query. We will use a select statement like this. So normally if we run this statement through here, so let's run a query quickly. So I'm getting a top 100 rows star from customers. Alright, so if I execute the command, I will get 100 rows from the customers table. It only has 91 rows, so it has returned 91 rows. So let me show you how you can run the similar command using the Invoke SQL command in Windows PowerShell. So let's go here, and you need to type invoke. You may practice this right now. You can open a Windows PowerShell and do that. So invoke SQL command is the command, and I need to specify the query parameter. Alright, and I need to specify the T-SQL syntax which I want to use. So I'm selecting top 100 star from customers. This is my SQL, and we have to terminate a statement by semicolon, and after that I need to put a semicolon, and then we need to specify the server instance. We can specify, but here we need to connect to the current instance. We can specify database name as well, so which can be specified using this. Northwind is our database, so let's try to see if it gives us anything. So you see it has given us 91 records from there. Right, let's see if I had not provided the database name, whether it worked or not. No, so that specification is necessary, because otherwise command do not know from which database to return the records from. So far we have used the direct T-SQL statement, and basically we can also use let me close that. Open multiple instances of SQL Server. Let's see if there are any others. Yep, multiple instances are opened. Okay, so now in the second demo, first demo is done. So we are done with this. So far we have seen how to run a SQL query from Windows PowerShell. So now we will show you how you can use a file, the .SQL file from Windows PowerShell. So for now, let me save this query, and let's save it to some convenient location, or maybe we can, this path is little bigger. So if we take a look at path, it's quite a long path. So let me do one thing. Let's go to, let me see if this path works. So I'm saving my script here. So I'm saving it as SQL script 1. So I've saved the script, and I'm closing the script here and going to Windows PowerShell. I will try to run the script. So how you can do that? Using a file. So you need to use the invoke SQL command, and you need to specify the parameter input file, and then you need to specify the path which we can copy from here. Let's see. So I need to go to documents and I need to go to SQL Server Management Studio, and I need to select the SQL script, not the SQL script but the path. File name is SQL script 1.sql. So let's paste this path here. Okay, SQL script 1.sql is the file name. So let's close out this path, but we need to specify a database name which is Northwind. Now let's try that. So it is saying that a parameter cannot be found. That okay, alright, so I've not specified the parameter name correctly, so it is file. Let's try that. So now you can see it is running the script from the file and running that script inside the Windows PowerShell window. And our second demo is done as well. Now I'll show you how you can get the child items under the default instance using get child item command. So SQL Server basically provides us the provider for Windows PowerShell, through which you can browse SQL Server in a directory like structure. So let me show you. So you can use the set location commandlet to point a SQL Server to any particular location. So you can run this command along with me. So I'm setting the location using SQL Server, and to structure is something like this. You need to type SQL, then you need to specify the server name. So let's see what do we have as a server name. So I need to open up this and I need to check the PC and properties. I need to get the machine name. So device name is this. I can copy this. Alright, so I can paste it over here. So this is our server name, and if we want to set the location to a default instance of SQL Server, we can just type default. Otherwise we can specify the name of the instance. Here we are connecting to a default instance. So this is a directory like structure. First we need to specify the SQL Server as specified, then we need to specify /SQL, /server name, and / the default instance. So right now I'm into this location. You see directly like structure over here, this, and we can use get child item command to see what all child items are under the default instance. So here it is connected to a default instance of SQL Server. It is giving us items of the Object Explorer window we see. So it has databases under which various databases are stored. We can navigate to it like if I can go inside databases as well. So we can further set location and go inside databases, I guess. Let's see. Now you see location is set to databases, and I can use the get child item command to see what all databases are there in our system. So far we have Northwind database. So guys, the third practical is done, and we have got the child items under the default instance. And if we want to get the table names under the specific database using Windows PowerShell, let's see this practical. So I'm inside the Windows PowerShell. So I can specify like get child item, and I need to specify tables, right? Or maybe table. No. Let's see what should be the correct command. So first command was correct, but yeah, I need to specify tables as this. Okay, it is saying as invalid argument. So first of all we need to correct our location. So if I run the get child item command here, I see we have Northwind as a item. So I need to connect to the Northwind database. So what we can do is I need to set location here to Northwind database. So now I'm connected to Northwind database, and if I get child item over here, I get the following child item over here. And if I just want to get the tables inside this Northwind database, what I can do is I can use get child item command along with the tables parameter to get the table names inside it. It is still not giving me somehow the table name inside it. So this one is not working, so I need to, I think, connect specifically to tables. It is not allowing me to give that item directly, even though it has tables, right? Yeah, it has tables, but still not allowing me to do that. So that what I can do is I can use the set location to tables folder, and under that I can do get child items to get the table names. So here we have following tables inside the Northwind database, like categories, customers, employees, etc. So yeah, we are done with this practical. Let me go back to my notes, and there are other things as well. These 4 demos are done. So SQL Server management tools are required in case we want to manage a SQL Server on through a machine which does not have a SQL Server. So we can install a SQL Server management tools on that machine. And for remote management via Windows PowerShell, Windows remote management tools and Windows PowerShell both should be installed using the add features wizard. And let's see. Let's go to one of the demo where we will verify the availability of Windows remote management, and we can also configure the Windows PowerShell for remoting. So let's see what are the steps. So we need to open up the add remove programs. The fastest way is you can run the app with CPL, which open up the add remove programs. Okay, but before we do that, the first step is like opening up Windows PowerShell in administrator mode. That is already running in administrative mode. You can see that by the title bar. It's running under the administrative mode. So basically, if let's see inside, it's a Windows feature, so we can see program and feature whether Windows remote management is enabled or not. So let's see where that feature is. Windows PowerShell is installed, that's for sure. So here we have Windows PowerShell and Windows remote management. Do not see anything related to that. WinRM. No, it is not showing us any remote management thing. So it is not available as a service to us, Windows remote management. Let's see, let's move ahead and let's see whether it still allows us to configure WinRM on this machine. So PowerShell is opened, and so basically Windows remote management runs as a service, so we can check whether this service is available over here. We can open up services MSC and see whether Windows remote management is available. So do you see that? Yeah, we have Windows remote management, but by default we have this service as manual and it is not running at present. So let's see. So by default Windows remote management service configured for manual startup by default, and you can change the startup type to automatic and start the service on each computer you want to work with. So for example, if you want to manage this computer remotely, we need to run the Windows remote management service in this system. So we need to automatically set the status of the service to automatic and start the service on each computer we want to work with. We can specify check the status of the service by typing this command get service WinRM, which is currently showing to us that the service is stopped along with the service name. and following command can be used to start the service. So the command is set service. This is the commandlet, and you need to specify the name of the service, which is WinRM. You need to specify the startup type. So we want it to set it to automatic, and we want its status to be changed to running. So yeah, that's it. We are fine. Let's run this. So let's see whether our service is started. So let me refresh that. So it's now running and it is set to automatic. Alright, so now we will configure the Windows PowerShell for remoting. So to enable this remote machine for remoting, we need to run the following command. So we need to use PS remoting, which is PowerShell remoting. So the system can be managed from other system as well, and we need to use the force parameter to force the connection, or force this enabling basically. So we have enabled the PS remoting in the force parameter. Let's see, it is not allowing us to do that and giving us invalid operation, although I think this is correct, but let's see. Okay, so it is saying that Windows firewall exception will not allow this type of command. Okay, so network connection is currently set to public. We need to change it to domain or private. So that's we are not doing. Basically our network connection should be set to public instead of the domain or a private connection, because this machine is connected to the internet. And let's see, ncpl.cpl, ncpa.cpl, I don't know. Let's see. So here we have a network connection which is like currently set to, we talk about networks. So if you go to network and sharing center, so network 2 is currently a public network and not a private or domain network. So we want to enable the PowerShell remoting. The connection first should be set to the private or domain connection. So this should be changed. So unless this one is private or a domain connection, PS remoting cannot be enabled on this machine. Otherwise it can create a security flaw. So far I'm not enabling this because my machine is connected to the internet and internet connection will get disrupted. So yeah, otherwise the command to enable this PS remoting is enable PS remoting, and using the force parameter to do that. So guys, we are done with this video. We have covered various demos inside this. We have talked about how you can use Windows PowerShell to run various T-SQL commands. So I hope you liked this video. Please, if you really like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to make any donation to my channel, there's a link in the description. You can do that. And I thank you once again for your time, and you have a wonderful day ahead.